Like that's it. Got to go.
While the mission of this Dawnguard sounds admirable, I figure we're much too busy with other things than to dedicate our time to purging vampires. Though perhaps it could be an entertaining distraction, if we ever feel so inclined. This band of vampire hunters piqued your interest then. I suppose there's no harm in at least seeing what they're all about. This is quite an impressive fort. A strange location for it though. Not much nearby to protect, tucked away in this valley. Perhaps it's rather meant to protect what's inside the walls. If a bunch of vampires are looking for some long-lost artifact of theirs, it's in our best interest to get to it first.
What could be hidden in this Dimhollow crypt? Maybe an everlasting blood spring?
These Nords never seem to realize that charging in alone screaming will inevitably lead to their untimely deaths. Or perhaps they are perfectly aware of that, and it was their intention all along. These graves don't look like the usual ancient Nord style. More of these strange, fresher-looking graves. Whatever these vampires are looking for, it must be in here. I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be. That didn't look pleasant, but it does seem to have done something. This appears to be some sort of arcane lock, with blood as the key. Three-dimensional art using magic. Surely you aren't planning on letting this vampire return to her home.
Let's hurry and see.
It's carrying an elder scroll for his sake. If you have no intention of slaying her, then we should bring her to Fort Dawnguard. You have no idea the importance her or the scroll has. Are you daft? She, or perhaps more likely, the scroll she is carrying, is what those vampires were after. We need to secure it for ourselves.
Combined with an automatic lockpick powered with a soul gem?
Glad you could see sense. While your willingness to help others is admirable, in this situation it isn't the logical choice. Admittedly hesitant to leave the vampire unattended. In fact, I'd much rather drag her to the fort kicking and screaming. Let's just hear what Isran has to say. Quickly. I still firmly believe this is a mistake. However, if it does indeed turn out to be one, it'll be Isran's fault. Now to bring this vampire to her precious island. Let's hope there is a ferry connection of some sort. I'm not looking to get my gear wet. I'd wager that castle in the distance is the vampire's home. We can reasonably conclude then that her family is of great influence within their particular circle.
Let's
I
move
must
faster.
reiterate that this seems like an exceedingly
It's not
stupid
great for
endeavor.
my skin, if you know what I mean.
Hey, you loud and clear. There's not a chance I'm entering that castle while you're aligned with its hosts. If you need me, call on me somewhere else. Speak soon. Isran seems rather hesitant to ask for aid. Or at the very least hesitant about these two. I wonder why. Regardless, if Isran thinks they'll be useful in the fight against the vampires, I see no harm in at least speaking with them. That Serene seems like someone you'd get along with, huh, Remy?
More than that, Zell. We'd be the best of friends. We'd be the best of inventors. The vampires wouldn't know what hit them. The world wouldn't know what hit it.
This Gunmar does seem to at least fit the hunter part of Vampire Hunter rather well. He will likely be a valuable addition.
But it doesn't doesn't sound like Isran is
Not
too
quite
good at
sure what
making
Serene
friends.
brings to the table, but that will likely be revealed soon enough. We're 2 for 2. It's time to return to Isran and figure out what we're going to do next. A vampire? That wouldn't be Serana, was it? That is a whole lot to process. The vampires are seeking to control the sun. If they can accomplish that, none of us would be safe. All would be prey, and their numbers would swell. People would join them to save themselves, or to gain standing in the new order of the world. No matter how impossible it may seem, Isran should be taking them at their word on this point. I can understand his reluctance, however. The vampires had the supposed key to all of this in their grasp when Serana returned to them. How could they allow her to leave? Especially with the Elder Scroll in hand. Is this some sort of trick? Is finding this Moth priest just a bluff to get us to waste time and resources looking? Is Serana perhaps a spy? Will she return to her castle with the details of the operations here? We can't know for sure. But we cannot afford to be wrong and not investigate this further. And if it is true, we have been very fortunate for Serana to turn coat like this. We must keep a keen eye on her, not let her out of our or the Dawn. Seems this Moth priest had an entire entourage. Citadel's best and brightest, do you think? Not Citadel's best and brightest, then.
The note says, until I can break his will.
Now that is awfully convenient.
Do you?
Ready yourself. An ambush likely awaits us at this Four Bears hideout. That's the trash dealt with. Now to get this Moth priest out of here. Seems that Serana's story has been proven true thus far. I dread to think what could have happened had we not been here to prevent it. Oriel's bow. It is familiar to me. Legends speak of the time when Trinimac tore out Lorcan's heart and Oriel shot it into the eastern sea. The very same heart that Dwemer would find beneath Red Mountain. The very same heart that Drabinor and Dagoth would siphon power from. But I digress. The weapon is otherwise unknown to me.
Do you have a moment
I
to
wonder
talk?
how it ties into the prophecy itself. We must find these other 2 scrolls. Somehow.
Do you
It's
have a
likely
moment
much
to
easier
talk?
said than done. Following a vampire headfirst into a dark, cramped part of their own castle seems like an exceedingly stupid idea to me. However, Serana did seemingly tell the truth about the vampire's plans, and I don't believe we have any other lead at this point in time. I won't say I trust her, but I am willing to at least follow this particular lead with vigilance. I wonder if this place has a passage to the main castle proper. If not, I can see why no one would bother maintaining it. Imagine having to trek outside every time you need to get to the Undercroft. Not the most impressive lab I've seen. Then again, it has been left to decay for gods know how long. I doubt we'll find much of a lead, unless Serana's mother intended for her to find her. But I won't mind examining the place. The Soul Cairn. That's a rather extreme hideaway. I cannot speak from any personal experience of that place. It rejects the living. Attempting to enter would see one's soul ripped from their body. I would be unable to enter, and so would you, as a matter of fact. As for that last bit in the journal, it would seem that Serana's own mother is the one who locked her away. Did Serana agree to that? Was she tricked? If she knew about all of this, why would she want to return to her father? Neither of the options presented to you are very appealing. I very much fear for you being turned into a vampire. With Serana's strain, Moloch Baal's influence may be much greater than with other strains of vampirism. You will lose your true self if you are turned. Your primal instincts will be to feast upon the blood of mortals. You will your soul's submission to Moloch Baal. That is among a long list of other horrid changes you would undergo. As for having your very soul trapped,
or an empty one.
even partially, would I have been in your place, it would terrify me greatly. Should death come while soul trapped, I fear my soul would never return to the Hist. The eternal cycle, severed. The thought shakes me to my very core. I will not entertain either of these for myself. I am not setting foot in there at that price. As for what you should do, I have no good answer. You'd be putting extreme trust into Serana if you let her soul trap you. But perhaps that is better than being turned. I trust that you will make the right choice for yourself.
Scrap, why would you say something?
You're back. That's an incredible relief. You have the Elder Scroll, right? Seems my faith in you was not misplaced then. What of your soul? Did you find a way to recover it? You are quite resourceful, aren't you? Almost makes me feel like I'm contributing hardly anything. What happened in there? I don't see Serana's mother with you. Did she not make it? Imprisonment. The ideal masters, I wager to guess. That is fascinating. You really must tell me more about that. But not now. We need to bring all the scrolls to Dexion for reading. Once that is done, you can enlighten me some more. Dexion's blindness is an unfortunate setback, but we must maintain our momentum. Let's find this ancestor glade and see if we can't read those scrolls. The atmosphere here is serene. It fills me with a great comfort, like being home amongst the Hist. Time is up. We must hurry to the place the scrolls revealed to you. We finally have the scrolls we need. We must meet with Dexion right away. I don't understand how Oriel's bow could possibly be located here in some dank cave in Skyrim's backwater. I'm not insinuating you've made a mistake. It just seems unlikely we're in the right place. A snow elf, then. The fact that he knows why we are here adds legitimacy to his story. It is possible that he knew of our coming through divination, communing with Oriel himself. His request was surprisingly direct. The elf clearly has intimate knowledge of the place, and likely of the bow. No matter his reasons for wanting his brother dead, I figure our best bet is to do as he's asked of us, unless aligning with his brother becomes the better alternative. Fascinating. Is this some sort of flora or fauna? Their reactivity makes me believe they are animals of some sort, but I have encountered quite animal-like flora in Blackmarsh. Seems they have awfully large and angry cats here as well. That's enough of that.
Nature path.
One down, 4 more to go. I am admittedly enjoying the scenery so far. The former, not so much. Incredible. An entire valley hidden away from the rest of the world. How many places are there like this unknown, do you think? We're making good progress. 3 more to go. Nearly there. Just 1 more way shrine to go. Dragon's ambush. 2 of them. These things must be frozen half to death in there. That's the ewer filled. We should now make our way to the inner sanctum. It worked. Ready yourself. There's no guessing what may be inside. That is an unsettling display. Some powerful magic must have caused this. That must be the snow elf we're looking for. Let's see what he has to say for himself. This lunatic seems to have caused his own demise.
Are you alright? Come on, we can do this. I know we can. He's up there on the balcony. Come on.
Let's run this bastard through. There it is. Oriel's bow. It is beautiful. I wonder if it's the one and the same as the legends. I am quite surprised at Serana's willingness to have her kin slaughtered by the Dawnguard. Of course, it is the objectively correct path forward, and what we've been wanting to do all this time. Perhaps there is hope of her seeing the light and shedding her vampirism. We are more than prepared to face the vampires head-on, especially with Oriel's bow in our possession. I doubt they will be able to resist the unrivaled power of the sun. The great vampire lord hides away deep in the castle while his subjects die in droves.
Every last one of them!
Pathetic. It's over. Finally. It feels as though a great weight has been lifted off my shoulders, as if the fate of Nirn had rested upon them. Harnessing the central element of the prophecy against Harkin, the irony is not lost on me. My feelings towards Serana are still ambivalent. Without her, the prophecy likely would have come to pass, and we'd all have been doomed. My hatred and distrust of vampires has only been bolstered by virtue of all of this. But perhaps there is hope for Serana. If she returns to the fold of the living, I would name her one of the greats of our time. If she continues down the path of vampirism, her ultimate fate is but assured. Perhaps you may help her bring about that change. The both of you have my gratitude. The sun will continue rising, and all life will bask in its glory. Thank you. As always, my pleasure. What is that? I believe that is a plant I've never seen before. May I have a look at it? Look at that. The fragrance is very unique. It's repulsive. Not in a disgusting way, but rather it makes one want to keep away from it. I find it hard to explain exactly. It feels shielded in a way. If I send some of my magicka to the flower, it is repulsed, ever so slightly. A slight nibble may reveal some of its properties to me. Almost. I chew to agitate it, and then my saliva breaks it down. The sensations and flavors will then reveal to me its properties. Some of its effects will likely impact me, however not to the same degree as eating it. Yes. My initial observations seem to be correct. The plant has magic-resistant properties, and also has the potential to instill fear, repulsion, like I said. I can also detect 2 other properties. Regeneration and paralysis. I need to get this all written down in my notes. Yes and no. I did indeed identify it just like that, but this talent has taken years to perfect, and is coupled with extensive knowledge about each distinct effect, flavor, and other variables. It very much comes in handy in situations like this, where an ingredient is completely unknown to me.